Well, if you want to commit to something tonight, guys, just like our friends and enemies in Married at First Sight, then commit to watching this video. Here we are, Married at First Sight, UK Season 9, Episode 34, The Vow Renewals. So we have our 4 couples going up to now finally decide if they are actually going to get married for real. The real deal. Marriage for life. From day one until the day you are buried. Marriage. I know I'm making it sound great, aren't I? So we begin the episode with all the different couples, kind of going their separate ways as they prepare for this momentous event. We of course have Sasha and Ross, still dubious over whether they can deal with him being a Manchester, her being a Walsall. What are they going to do? Nathan and Lacey being soppy. Amy and Luke, still with their same problems, but Amy admitting she fancies him and everything, but doesn't know if she can trust him. And finally, Polly and Adam. Polly and Adam still reeling from last night's absolute disaster. Adam won't even look at Polly, and she does this weird thing. She claims she's apologised. She kind of gives him an apology for what she said. She takes it all back, blah, blah, blah. But then she gets angry with him because he doesn't seem to want to accept the apology like that. Some people are like that. They say, well, I said I'm sorry. What's your problem now? And you think, well, some people, right, when you say sorry, they don't just instantly forgive and move on as if nothing happened. They need a bit more time. Adam is clearly hurt. He's a hurt man. And he needs a bit of time by himself to decide whether he's going to forgive and move on, or whether that's not good enough, and he doesn't want to move on, he doesn't want to go forward with Polly, etc., etc. But Polly seems to be getting angry with him for not receiving the apology in the way that she'd like him to, and is therefore kicking off again. And I just think this is just working against you all the time, Polly. If this is how you're going to behave at home, he really isn't going to want to hang around with you, because why would he? He just can't. It's just unpleasant. It's just genuinely unpleasant.
Did we talk about last night? Adam won't even look at me, which is quite upsetting. I hold my hands up. I am sorry for everything I said to him last night, and I shouldn't have done it how I did. Yeah?
What?
I said, should we talk about last night?
I think it's funny, do you? Why would you, at the dinner party, speak to me like you fucking hate me?
I apologise for calling you a narcissist.
You've ruined it, not me.
You've said stuff in the heat of the moment. I've said stuff in the heat of the moment. You need to see the bigger picture, which this is not going to be a bigger thing when we leave.
What makes you think it's going to work now?
Because I'm a big enough person to sit down and reconcile it and say, right, this is what we're going to do to make it work.
I think the way you acted last night, it was like you hated me, not wanted to make it work.
I'm sorry that that's how it felt to you. But I wouldn't still be sitting here if I didn't fucking like you and I hated you.
Why would you want to be with me if that's what you actually thought of me, yeah?
I don't know what else to say apart from, again, the fact that I've explained it so much and you're still only taking what you want from it and not what I've actually said.
Ugh.
The fact that he can't even look at me is a fucking piss take. Adam thinks that I'm to blame for everything. It's a joke. This just isn't what I wanted going into the vow renewals. I don't know what way it's going to go.
Back in their homesteads, the contestants all meet with members of the family and people who are at their wedding, etc., etc. And Amy meets with her really stony-faced friend, who sits on the sofa opposite Amy, barely cracking a smile and stroking Amy's dog, John. She looks a bit like a Bond villain. And everything Amy says about Luke, she just shoots down. She doesn't like Luke, says he's clearly not the one. Even though Amy does defend Luke, surprisingly, her friend is not convinced. And again, I just think because a stony-faced friend is not convinced, it doesn't mean you shouldn't go ahead with something. But that girl just seems so sour. Anyway, Luke consoles himself with, I think, a guy who was at his wedding called Tom. And Luke is obviously very regretful, but he comes across as caring more, perhaps, about the relationship than Amy does, just my opinion.
I didn't know if it was a relationship or not. I feel like he speaks to me, and when he's speaking, I just switch off because I just think everything that comes out of his mouth is bullshit.
Nobody likes liars, and for him to continuously lie, that's not somebody that you want to spend the rest of your life with.
But there are some positives, like I really wanted somebody that had manners. He is a caring person. like he makes effort with other people, which is really nice. I actually like started thinking to myself, do you know what, like this could go somewhere.
When we were good, with me and Amy are so good, but what's going wrong then? I don't know, she thinks I'm a liar, but I've only lied about a few things to protect her, like that photo. I thought, how would I feel if I went to her house and saw a picture of her with some DJ in Ibiza or something? And now, because I lost that integrity, everything I say, even if it's true, she'll question.
I don't know. There's just something that doesn't add up to him. I think you should trust your gut, like, you know, if you think you can make this work on the outside.
I know. I definitely have a lot of thinking to do when it comes to Luke and our marriage. I just really don't know where my head's at right now, and I don't know what to do.
I know I don't want to give up on her, that's the feeling I have. Like, I want to give it everything, and if I have still a bit more in me, I want to give it to her. I am a little worried sitting here thinking Amy's being, you know, told lots of different things, that I wasn't coming across as being honest and truthful, and I think that just ruined the trust. And, you know, voices inside her head might tell her, you know what, forget this boy, he's not the one for you. But my heart really hopes that she will stay and give us a chance to work on it.
Then we have the first vow renewal ceremony with Sasha and Ross basically telling Sasha, I'm not really prepared to move to Walsall, leave my daughter in Manchester and my family in Manchester. And Sasha's not happy about that, says he doesn't have her back. She weeps, walks off set, so we don't know what's going to happen next. But I don't know what she was expecting.
I'm upset with Ross's vows. It sounds like he doesn't want to come to Warsaw. I am absolutely devastated. You've not had my back with them vows, that's what I feel like. I need a minute, can I have a minute?
Clearly I wasn't listening and wasn't paying attention, because Ross has said he will move to Walsall. So Sasha's delighted, gives her lovey-dovey vows, and they are together, despite the fieriness in their relationship.
I'm going to move to Warsaw to be with you.
And I guess that was a yes, even though we know it turned out to be a no after the show was actually finished filming. Then we had Amy and Luke, and obviously Luke's hopeful. Amy, on the other hand, kind of gives the game away early on and says, oh, if I show up wearing a white dress, it's a yes. If I show up wearing a black dress, it's a no. And she steps into shot wearing her black dress. Luke gives what I thought was a lovely summation of their relationship. He apologises for his mistakes. He seems very nice. And she then responds with a really kind of callous and deep cut response, and says, I'm wearing black, this relationship's dead, deceased, over, R.I.P., you know, and just throws everything down and walks off, you know, so immature and so juvenile, and just leaves Luke there hurt, and he carries on talking about how hurt he is. She knew exactly what she was doing, and should we be surprised? No. And I don't really feel Luke deserved that at all, but she said, oh, the lies, the lies, the lies, and wasn't prepared to give him the time of day, and there you go. I felt for Luke. Maybe I shouldn't, but I really did. I didn't think Amy should have dumped him that way. There was another way to do it that wasn't so hard and cold. But goodness me, she proved to be a real ice queen tonight. Not ice cream, ice queen. Ice creams are nice, but I don't think Amy's particularly nice. Should I say that? I just did.
Amy, on our wedding day, I turned around and there you were, a magical princess. You looked like a bride from a fairy tale, and I felt ready to be your Prince Charming from the Mediterranean. And so our story began. This experiment has been testing, to say the least. With all our highs, there have been many lows. I feel responsible for causing many of these lows with my white lies. This disappoints me because I have ultimately broken our trust. At times I doubted whether you even liked me, and I had concerns about why you were being so cold with me. But the ice started to melt. We drew closer, we opened up, and at every step you were there, protecting me, reassuring me that we were going to be alright. We have shared the most special moments together, Amy, and I do not want to give up. If there is someone that's right for me in my life, it is you. There are many things I have left to work on, this is very clear. But I hope that when I continue with this journey ahead, there will be 2 pairs of footprints in the sand. Although one will be from a car boot sale, and the other will be a designer heel. Amy, I want to stay together. Our future starts now.
Luke, I joined this experiment in hope of finding my forever person. You and my Prince Charming stood at the altar. You showed me you were a gentleman, and it gave me a glimpse of what could be. There has never been a dull day with you. We've had so many laughs along the way. I want to thank you for coming into my life and for helping me grow as a person. You've taught me a lot about myself. However, I tried so hard to let my walls down, but the continuous lies and dishonesty has stopped our marriage from moving forward. How can I give my all to a man who doesn't show me who he truly is? Marriage is built on trust, and you have pushed me to a point where I don't believe a word that leaves your mouth. I came into this experiment knowing exactly what I wanted, and I'm leaving this experiment knowing exactly what I do not want. I know my worth, and you aren't worthy of me. This marriage is done. Dead. Deceased. I stand here in front of you today, wearing black to mourn its death. R.I.P. That was the scariest thing I've ever had to do. I felt really savage having to look him in the eye and just deliver honest truth, but this has been building up for weeks. I feel really bad that I've hurt Luke's feelings, but I need to remember that he's hurt mine 10 times over, and I know I've made the right decision. I still don't know who the real Luke is.
Alfie has returned. So Alfie, Polly's friend, he's also a bit sour-faced, isn't he? And he seems to know everything about relationships. He's a relationship expert, like the other experts on the programme. But anyway, he's there with Polly's mum, and they basically just lay into Adam. You know, I get it. You know, Adam's with that friend of his, the best man, who's had to endure all their rows and sit there like a gooseberry and not really know what to say or do. But anyway, right, so they're sitting there and, you know, basically after chewing Adam out, Polly's mum and Alfie decided to tell Polly, look, he's the wrong man for you. He's the wrong man. Don't marry him. He's wrong. But the mother says, it's your choice, but he's the wrong man. So I do wonder now whether Polly can realistically just ignore their advice and say yes to Adam. I don't think she will, but I don't think Adam's going to say yes to her anyway, unless he has a complete change of heart and thinks, oh, the good times with Polly were worth going through the awful times. But I don't think they were.
Positives outweigh the negatives.
There's so many positives. But at the last dinner party, we argued. I said to him, I don't feel like you've been 100% honest with me. He said, I've always been honest, I've never led you on, I've told you how I feel, but yet you're being really handsy with me and kissing me before we go to bed goodnight and grabbing my bum and then saying that there's no sexual connection, that you don't see it going anywhere, but yet you've continued to have sex with me. Yeah, well,
What has he got out of this apart
Well,
from
you
making,
tell me, because
apart from
this
making
is-
you feel small?
This is where the frustration now comes from.
That's
So
not okay.
I feel like I've stayed because I can see he can be so much of a better man. It's just hard. It's the whole case of head and heart, isn't it?
I just think, for me right now, you're defending and fighting for the wrong man.
I agree.
I categorically do not think that Adam is the right man for Polly, and I think that she could find somebody who will give her far more than he ever could.
The choice is yours at the end of the day.
Then we have Nathan and Lacey. I think the producers probably told them to come up with this whole thing of, oh, is he giving me enough? You know, is he emotional enough? Because they clearly love each other. And I have to say, Nathan gave a lovely speech and he got a bit emotional. And it is difficult for him because we forget, you know, he is neurodivergent. And I think doing a speech for someone like him is a big ask. And he's not quite sure how to say things. But he does say them in the end. And that's what matters. And I thought his speech was lovely. And obviously I don't see any way they're not going to actually proceed now and get married. Unless I'm in for some major shock. But yeah, so there we go. They're our second couple. Sasha and Ross first. Nathan and Lacey, who are progressing with their marriages. I don't know whether Nathan and Lacey are still together, but I don't see why not. They do seem to love each other. Unless it's all put on, of course. Which it could be, as we know. Just like, you know, it's not actually me doing this video. It's an AI avatar of me. See? But you wouldn't know it.
Memories of our wedding. It was full of joy, happiness and excitement. When I first saw you, I thought you were so beautiful. And I was really excited to get to know you and start our journey together. However, as time went on, it became apparent that our communication was going to be our biggest challenge for us. You needed quite a lot of vocal reassurance to feel that I was interested in you. This was quite difficult for me, as I was still trying to get to know you as a person. It takes me time to really open myself up to someone, and I didn't realise how hard it would be. I feel like one of our biggest hurdles was accepting the way I communicate and realising how much my ADHD would impact our marriage. I could see that you were having difficulty believing that I really did like you as you struggled to read my emotions. At times I feared that if I didn't give you the communication that you expected, that this would upset you. I worried that eventually you'd give up. However, I promised myself that I'd put things right. There is so much I love about you. I love your quirky little mannerisms, like the way you scrunch your nose. I love how confident and spontaneous you are. I know I'm difficult to read sometimes, but hang on a sec. Oof. I love how patient you are with me, and how you have grown to understand me and how I think. One second. One sec.
You're fine.
Sorry. Okay. I never met someone who pushes me outside my comfort zone, making me a better person. I never get tired of spending time with you. I'm looking forward to continuing to get to know you on another level outside the experiment. I love you to the stars and back.
Against all the odds, guys, Polly and Adam decide to press on and get married. No. It was dreadful. So, what happened? Basically, they came together and Polly kicked it off, and her speech soon descended into how Adam's not good enough for her and she deserves better, and she was accusing him of leading her on, using her for sex, even though they didn't actually have sex that often, apparently. He says 3 times in 10 weeks. And yeah, he's a liar, she says all this kind of stuff, and basically he just ends up walking away. And why wouldn't he? But also, I don't know if Polly's deluded. She says, "Oh, and during this process, you know, I've changed for you. I haven't been myself. I've stopped swearing and arguing." I thought, are you all right, love? You certainly haven't stopped arguing, and goodness me, you have not stopped swearing. I mean, really, she cusses like a sailor. I'm just like, I mean, have you been there? I mean, yeah. Anyway, Adam walks off. He's not going to sit there and be called a liar and be called this kind of person and etc. And I get it. I'm sure there's lots Adam has done wrong. You know, I'm sure of it. But it's amazing how your emotions and your feelings can shift over the course of a series like this. When it first started, I really didn't like Adam at all. And I liked Polly. And I thought Adam was, you know, really boring and lackluster, especially the way he behaved on the honeymoon. And then I realised over time, actually, he does seem to be someone who's over the process, has actually tried to do something. Whereas I feel Polly has not. She's just kind of sat back and wanted him to do everything to her and for her. That's the impression I've got. Obviously, we're relying on the integrity of the people who make the show and the editing, etc.
And I'll never forget it for as long as I live. It hasn't been an easy journey, and it's been filled with ups and downs. I came into this process ready to compromise, but I've realised I've actually been sacrificing a lot of my personality. I've tried not to swear, not to talk about intimacy, and to not be too opinionated. And I've watered down arguments to protect your reputation. These things were never reciprocated, showing me that compromise and sacrifice are very different things. That said, you've taught me that a relationship can be fun, and you've taught me what I want from a man. I'm boisterous, loud, opinionated and independent. And the right man will love those things about me. You've been so adamant that you haven't wanted me to change. Over the last few days, I've finally come to realise that this isn't true. I now know what I deserve, and it's more than this. I regret calling you emotionally mature, because if you were emotionally mature, you wouldn't have led me on the way that you did. You would have known what you would have wanted and not given me mixed signals when it came to intimacy. You used me to paint a narrative that you could be a good man, a good husband, but all you've really done is show that you're a good liar. I really do hope that you find love one day, but it won't be with me.
Okay. I just don't think I'm a liar, and I don't think I've led you on at all, personally.
You have lied. You have lied about how you feel about me. You have lied about seeing a future with us. You have lied about wanting to carry it on outside when you know that that's not how you felt. So that's lying.
I don't think I've led you on.
You have though, because you haven't been honest with me. You came in and talked the talk and you weren't walking the walk. Multiple opportunities to leave, Adam. I said, if you want to go, then I'll go.
I know.
So why did you stay then if you know that it's easy enough to leave?
Just to see what happens, and to see if anything would change, and it didn't change.
But why would you wait to see what happened when you knew how you felt about me?
It was always about you. It was never about me.
It was about you. Every time I asked you if you was okay.
I'm not going to sit here and have a bickering match with you.
You just don't make any sense.
I just
you
think
don't
like,
make any sense.
Okay.
With what you've said and what you've done.
I'm not bickering, it's childish.
Also, lack of empathy, not taking accountability for your own behaviours, deflecting the blame, struggling to apologise. The fact that you're still standing and you don't think that you owe me an apology for anything is a joke.
For what?
I'm not going into this. Adam, I've apologised to you so much, it's fluent.
This is childish, boring.
Oh, fucking, you're walking away again. You are a fucking joke, but you actually are embarrassing.
I'm a good liar. Absolutely baffles me. I've been honest with Polly since the get-go.
It's just shown what he always does, which is just walk away. He never fucking finishes anything.
I don't think that Polly ever appreciated me. I did so many things for Polly. Just because it wasn't the things that she wanted, it's like it went unnoticed.
It's really, really shit to go through what you've gone through and been so vulnerable and open to then be in a position of knowing. Just wanna cry. After like sharing that with someone, to then walk away not even speaking. I haven't been able to say everything that I wanted to say to Adam, and I'm telling you now, this is not done. He's not going to get the chance to mug me off.
Anyway, Polly vowed at the end, this is not the end of it. Adam walked off before I'd finished, and I'm going to finish it. And lo and behold, we get a clip of tomorrow night's reunion, and we get to see this.
Fuck you fucking prick!
Indeed, Polly throwing a glass of wine over Adam. I'm sure she would prefer it if it was a bucket of sewage. She's got so much bitterness in her towards that man. You know what? Let's just let it be bygones. He didn't like you as much as you hoped he would. He was upfront about the fact that he was struggling with the physical attraction. He's always said that from day one. I don't really think it's fair to accuse him of leading you on. At every, commitment ceremony, he said, yeah, I'm struggling with the physical intimacy, struggling to do all these physical things she wants. And I thought he was open about that in front of everyone. So I'm not really sure whether you can say he's leading her on. I think he was hoping that it would turn out that she was always going to behave the way she did during the home visits, and she was always going to be like that, and that made him happy, and she wasn't. She was like that rarely, and more often than not, the way he didn't like. And that's the way it turned out. So there we go, guys. What did you make of tonight's episode? Were you betting on these people going through to marriage or not? Who were your hopes on? What were you surprised by? Let's talk, and let's decide what's going to happen in the reunion tomorrow night and what's going to go down. It looks fiery.